Hello and welcome, big guys, to the 8th episode of the Big Guys Podcast, Friday special as usual. Co-host Casey McClure, Adil Hamade, and we're here to just break it down like we always do.
Yeah, it's great to be here every Friday. Not last Friday, we had some things to take care of. I went down to Fort Lauderdale, rage with the boys. You on a new health plan, kind of taking it easy, focusing on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back this Friday though. Got a great show for you. Want to touch on the Mars landing. Some of these sports trade rumors with Russell Wilson and such. But we do start with this 75-day challenge, big guy.
Right. So I've been getting a lot of questions about it. People have been finding out that I've been on this journey of self-realization, self-help, and it's mainly because I am taking on a new career path. I'm starting my journey as a young adult, and I'm trying to put things into line so that I can do the job to the best of my abilities. And so during this whole quarantine thing, it's been super hard to really get back on track. Gained a bunch of weight, just built a bunch of bad habits. So it was time to find something. And as I was just scrolling through TikTok one day, found out about a 75-day hard challenge. And so basically what it is, for all of you that are wondering, it's basically a challenge where you have to go 75 days consistently. It's all about consistency. You work out twice a day for 45 minutes, but one of them has to be outside. You have to drink a gallon of water every day, which is probably the hardest thing to do because you forget. You can't drink alcohol or have any cheat meals, which, I mean, that one's kind of tough because, you accept an invite to go out and then you completely forget that you're on this challenge, and then you have to be waters. Probably shouldn't, but it's all good. And what else did I say? And read a book. Read 10 pages of a nonfiction kind of like to make yourself better, basically. Mm-hmm. And so the books I've read was Atomic Habits, and right now I'm reading Relentless, which is a great book. Talks a lot about Dwayne Wade and how much he references him as a cleaner, someone who is unstoppable, continues to make himself better, and does anything he has to do and kind of silences out the critics.
Now, big guy, we were talking before the show, and we've been talking about this challenge for the past week or so since you started. And you said, the good thing about this challenge is it improves your physical health just as much, or your mental health just as much as your physical health. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Definitely. So I've never been much of a runner, and so finding that outdoor workout has led me to go on walks. And now once I'm consistently going on walks, I'm like, instinctively, as a competitive person, I'm like, let me start running. So now I'm running more. But now that I'm so deep into it, there have been days where I don't want to do it. Things come up in life where you just can't, or the weather's bad, it's raining. And so it kind of mimics the journey of life in the fact that, there's going to be bad days where you just can't get up and do something, but you're already committed to this challenge. You already said that you were going to do this, and if you stop now, then you're failing yourself. And so there's a lot of self-accountability, just putting your head down and doing the work. And your question exactly?
Yeah, well, I was asking how it improves the mental, with the physical, and you kind of, touched on it. It builds the consistency, the discipline, kind of, as you're saying, you don't want to, run every day. And, sometimes you can't hit 2 workouts. There's time constraints, tired, got to eat dinner, got to do, certain, events or plans that you had. But, the deeper you're in that challenge, the priorities change. It's like, I need to focus on my health. I need to get this work in here, this work in. You plan accordingly. The consistency's there. The discipline's there. And I think one of the best things about this challenge, you starting this challenge, was, you didn't really need to do it. You kind of felt like you you wanted to better yourself, but like it wasn't like a dying thing. But you starting it, fellow big guy Andrew Hours reaches out to you and has started the challenge as well, and he's 4 days in. The big guy, he talked to me today. Yeah. He was having salmon pesto, getting his cows in. He's walked, I think he's gone 20 miles in 4 days.
Right.
So the big guy's slotted, it's great stuff.
The big guy's doing big things. So the thing with Hours is, so he's been an athlete his entire life. And most of us at a very high level. I mean,
Bucknell tight end, 4 years.
Yeah, playing Division I sports at an extremely high level, basically his entire life. And finally, when a lot of athletes reach the end of the road, when they find out they can no longer play sports at a high level like that competitively, they kind of lose their identity. And they lose because they grow up saying, well, what's your identity? First thing that comes to mind for them is an athlete. Mm-hmm. Once you lose that title for yourself, you kind of lose that path of where you're supposed to be going. But if you take a step back and just ignore all the distractions and you find out what your true identity is, well, you realize if you're an athlete, then you're probably a mentally strong person who likes physically demanding challenges. And so I think that this 75, he caught me at a right time while I was in a challenge like this to actually help guide him. And I'm very, very grateful that I was able to help guide him. He's doing all the work. I'm not doing anything. I'm just, being there for support. Where, he's very lucky because not a lot of people will support you if you're doing something, if you're trying to help yourself. But of course, I'm going to be there for a fellow big guy. Mm-hmm. And so he's doing a great job. And hopefully by the end of the 75 days, at post-surgery, hopefully he'll lose a bunch of weight. That's just a side effect of the whole program.
I think with the big guy, I was telling him, I was like, the mental as much as the physical, that's kind of, the good thing about this is, building the discipline to get healthy every day because, if you don't, after football, like you're not forced to work out every day, or like after your career, you're not forced to work out every day, or forced to you're not on that schedule. It's you who has to go and do that, and that's kind of what this does. It gets you on the path where you're taking control, and you're kind of it builds that mental. It builds it in your head to really repeat, and continue making those healthy gains for the mind and the body. But now, did you quit vaping, big guy, when you started this, or was it you kind of quit vaping and then like I'm going to continue helping myself?
Yeah, so vaping. We've all talked about it. We've all talked about vaping. It's been an ongoing thing for many years now. We realize the side effects of it. It's awful. And I even before the whole plan was during Lent to give up vaping for Lent.
Of course, that was the plan.
And so I had that in mind, and then so someone sent me like text this to this number for like tips for like messages of encouragement. So I signed up for that, and it kind of worked in a weird sense. And so I just put the cancer stick away, the USB thumb drive, whatever, put it down, and now that I'm on this challenge and I'm running every day, it gives me more of a incentive to quit, to really not buy a vape again, because if I buy that vape, I'm not going to be able to improve my mile time or make any gains.
It's all about the consistent gains, and you can't take out everything that gets in the way.
It's trimming the fat, the fat, so you get to that end result that you want, because you're not going to get to where you want to be unless you put the work in. And a lot of people think that, I can just sit down and not really put the work in, it's just going to come to me, but that's just not true. That's just a false narrative that a lot of social media puts out there and kind of brainwashes people.
Exactly. Great stuff, big guy. Over here at Big Guys LLC, we always care about the community and how to help the community of big guys, and these healthy tips, and the 75 day challenge, this and that. If you have any questions, hit up the podcast. We'll be happy. Big guy over here will be happy to answer any questions. And if you want to hop on the challenge, with the big guy or and with the Big Guys community, feel free to do so. We encourage you to do so. And it's great stuff.
Most definitely. Hit us up.
Kind of want to move forward now. There was a big event it might have been last week, this week. I don't know. But kind of just, we were sitting here talking before the show about it, and it's Mars. We got a robot on Mars, the fifth one to land successfully. Your thoughts on Mars and, where do we go here? Because I thought we were going to the moon, but now, we got more interaction with Mars than the moon these days.
Right. Mars is very trippy. I don't know what to expect with this whole Mars thing. I think the whole goal of it is to make sure I think Perseverance is checking for any life forms that may have existed on that planet, which is very scary if they do end up finding that there was. But at the same time, it's kind of amazing. I know that there's frozen ice there already, but there's just so much dust, and it's basically like filled with rust. It's an entire Call of Duty rust
desert,
map. Yeah,
almost like when you look at those pictures, it's like a giant desert. Everyone always talks about living on Mars and that's where we're going. Like Jay Gannon brought this up one day. He's like, I hate the people. Jay Gannon was saying, he's like, I hate the people that are like, oh, we're gonna live on Mars. We're gonna live on Mars. He's like, we got a perfectly good planet here. Why are we going to Mars? Like we could easily take the proper steps to preserve this planet, and make it sustainable. But we just don't. So we're looking on taking our talents elsewhere.
Well, try telling that to Christopher Columbus. I mean, they had a perfectly fine country in Spain, but until he took his talents across the world, crossing the sea, we wouldn't have been in America.
That's a good point.
So why not expand your horizons and try to have interplanetary colonization?
Well, that'd be pretty far being Mars. But I don't think we could live on Mars because we're not gonna live in a dome.
We're not. We'll never.
Yeah, we won't. But future generations and all that. I feel like we gotta find a planet that has oxygen, obviously, because too much of a liability just living on Mars and living in a dome. Because if you just happen to go outside without the proper resources, you're dead.
Well, if you think about it, what if you just continued to plant plants and trees? Don't trees make oxygen?
We're not. Yeah, I don't know how this all works. I just know in the movie Martian, you couldn't go outside. You could grow shit. You grew fat potatoes. But I don't think you just go pull up to Mars and plant trees.
Well, I mean,
because it's too cold. It gets super cold on Mars.
Well, there might be something else. Maybe Mars is not meant for us to live on it, but maybe extracting some resources,
some fad learning. Where you go to Mars, you learn about possible, other organisms. And,
I think eventually, it's going to lead to taking resources from Mars and shipping them back over to the Earth to preserve Earth, because we're lacking some of the resources that we're destroying. We're destroying a lot of resources.
That'd actually be I'm okay with that.
Who knows?
I mean, no one's really using Mars as far as we know, so we can just I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Part of the thing, I saw a video from the actual Perseverance robot. When it landed, the robot that helped it land, that brought it to the planet, crashed.
There were two robots?
Yeah, one robot brought it in. It brought it in and then dropped it into the planet with a parachute. And then the Perseverance fell nicely and landed, and then the other thing just came and crashed and just exploded. And while it was coming down and explode, the other robot was watching it 2,000 miles away just explode.
Damn.
And so the robot made the ultimate sacrifice.
You don't see that every day, robots making fat sacrifices. It's good to see. I mean, obviously it was a human controlling it, but still. Why can't we afford two parachutes?
I don't know.
Why is there only one? Why should I feel like we should be able to just drop. We should have just dropped fat robots on Mars.
I kind of
why not drop 10?
Well, there are a few, but one time might as well just send a couple because it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But that one robot had it served its purpose and did its cause, got Perseverance there.
Did you ever watch there was a Mars rover doc that I watched. I think it was Miss Miller's class in environmental science, or one of my science classes, and like it showed how the Mars rover died.
Oh God!
It like went down, like it was fighting, and it had solar panels on it, and then there was just dust, like sandstorm, and it was getting so dusty, and then it slowly just like keeps going and shuts off, and like that's how it died.
That's sad.
It was pretty sad, like to end it, and it's like damn, it slid fat for a good amount of time, but
AIs are going to be living.
These aren't AIs though, right?
I mean, they're essentially artificial intelligence, right?
Nah, I think someone's controlling it.
We're gonna have to fact check this, but
that'd be so funny because Perseverance has a Twitter account. It'd be funny if like an AI was running it.
I would love that. I mean, it's got to make.
It's
got to make moves. Like it's probably gonna hear something and it'll react to the sound. It probably reacts to sound. Maybe some sonar, has some sonar detection just in case something's trying to speak to it.
Okay. What if it'd ping it back, but
what if Mars was just a planet filled with robots and it communicated with Perseverance and Perseverance turned on Earth and just shut down the cameras and just like lived in Mars for the rest of the
time. I mean, yeah, that would be something.
Or it falls in love with the Martian.
Crazy stuff. Mars, obviously, it's the next frontier.
Yeah.
Who knows what will happen? We'll probably be dead long before any of that happens. But who knows? Elon Musk is talking, getting there soon. So that would be something. Moving on. Favorite part of the show, the fat skimp section.
Fat skimp.
It's always my favorite part of every Friday. Kind of going over, what's fat, what's skimped, what are our thoughts on this stuff. And I got a couple good ones today, I think. First one being Russell Wilson, a guy who everyone thought would be in Seattle his whole career. Now there's reports he wants out, and he's thinking about the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Saints, and I want to say I don't know the fourth team. Your thoughts on Russell Wilson? Fat
skimped. I think this is the end of your career. You should stick with the team that got you there and try to make another run. I mean, why leave? I mean, you have the chance to even have a statue in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm a big loyalty guy, and that's just skimped.
I think it's skimped as well. I mean, I really think his wife Sierra's in his ear telling him to go to a bigger, because all those teams he mentioned are like big market teams. I think his wife's like, we make fat cash, like fat marketability, and also the offense. Like he blamed on his offensive line, and he holds on to the ball like longer than anybody. That's so true. It's really on him, because if you just get rid of the ball, then you're fine. But I used to love Russell Wilson. These kind of actions, skimped, and I don't want him coming to the Raiders. I love my quarterback, Derek Carr. That's why I'm wearing this jersey. And I hope he stays in Seattle and finishes his career there, because quarterbacks, I don't like all these quarterbacks changing teams. It's bad for the league. There's a lot of QB movement, and they just gotta stay on their team.
That's true. You look at a quarterback like Matt Ryan, who's stuck with his team, and he's had his opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. So if you just wait it out, you become a legend in the city, and you'll have your shot. Just trust the process.
Yeah, Matt Ryan could obviously get traded too, but he's not asking for a trade. Like, Falcons aren't really looking good. Julio Jones isn't asking for a trade. Matt Ryan's not, because they love their cities. They're doing it for their city. Like,
they're franchise players.
Exactly, and people forget that these days. It's a tough scene.
It's the NBA's fault.
I think so. Yeah, NBA did to start. I mean, people blame it on LeBron because he took his talents to Miami and stuff. I guess he started it, but he came to Miami, so it was okay. But it's too much. Like, there's no loyalty from players anymore. And I get, like, people, if Mike was here hearing this, he'd be saying, like, they don't. Oh, just because they were drafted by a team doesn't mean they, should feel loyal to that team. But no, you should, because those fans took you in. Those, they bought your jerseys, they bought your merch, they supported you throughout your entire career in that city. So you should have a sense of loyalty to that the people of that community.
Definitely.
And too many people just walk out on that commitment for $1 million or $2 million more dollars, and sometimes it's not because of state income tax.
Yeah, but in LeBron's case, he's totally different. Why I love LeBron, not only did he come to Miami and help us win some championships, but he came to Miami to learn how to win a championship, and then he took his talents back to the team that brought him in. And that's that's the most respectful thing you can do.
Yeah, he really did. He went back to his first love in
Cleveland.
And
this is for you. He put the team on his back. He put the city on his back. Cleveland hasn't seen a championship since LeBron. I mean, they've seen it, but before LeBron won the championship, they didn't. It was a dry spell.
I don't think we've ever seen before then, since then, and even before someone do it for this city as much as they did it for Cleveland.
Right.
He did for Cleveland. I can't really think of anyone else. I mean, I'm trying to think of other people who just put on for their city, but there's.
I don't know. I can't really think of anyone. But in the book I was reading, Relentless, it talked about LeBron wasn't a quote-unquote cleaner, which is basically someone who's unstoppable, strives for greatness all the time, can block out the media, because he wasn't doing that. I mean, he was always getting distracted by what people had to say about him, this and that, until finally he stepped up in Miami, became basically the king of basketball, and then took that unstoppable talent, that unstoppable work ethic, yada, 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 Cleveland, shebang, you won a championship.
I mean, that's loyalty. You don't want to see it first, but then he made his amends, and you wish more people had that kind of loyalty to their fan base.
Shout out KD.
Yeah, I hate KD. Okay. Yeah. Second fatter skip. Brandon Ingram. He made some comments this week, and we don't like Brandon Ingram for multiple reasons. The first being when JC got into the NBA and dunked on him in the NBA. When they released his rating for the first time, he was dunking on Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram said some stuff.
Oh yeah.
So that kind of got me on the wrong foot.
It was 2K, by the way. Brandon Ingram didn't dunk on JC.
Yeah. JC was dunking on him on 2K when they announced JC's ratings, and he was like, "Oh, that'll never happen." I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay. Yeah.
But he made some comments, and he was like, I've never played with someone as good as me. He's talking about playing with Zion until now. So
with as much talent.
Much talent. And, he obviously played with LeBron James. I'm not sure if he played with Kobe Bryant, but
how dare you?
He might have been gone. Kobe might, I think, left before Brandon Ingram got there. But how dare you? One, you're not even close to the talent of Zion. Zion's way better than Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, I don't think he's an all-star this year. He got most improved last year off straight BS. He's not a good player. He just jacks up shot after shot after shot. He tries to do his basketball IQ is absolutely zero. He has none. Because he literally just goes in. If he's playing, it's like you're playing 2K, and he moves his stick a bunch around, does some crazy stuff, and then shoots a fadeaway jumper or mid-range three. Mid-range or three. I hate him. And I think these comments are just stupid. Skipped.
Yeah. Comments, very skimped. Your talents are nowhere near Zion. I mean, the guy's a freak of nature. Very, very talented. Gifted. Generational player. And as far as you go, yes, you may have the same type of archetype as Kevin Durant, but talent-wise, you guys are light years away.
People can have so much talent, but if you lack the IQ of the game, then you need to know what your strengths are, and he lacks the intelligence to play that, to take that next step. And it's comments like that show you he lacks the intelligence.
And clearly his ego, by saying that comment, is nowhere near where it needs to be to put in that hard work.
And he's the main reason
to win.
He's the main reason, I think, that the Pelicans aren't as good as they should be because of his ego. You know, his ego, he's saying stuff like this. He clearly thinks he's the best player on that team. When realistically, if he could actually look himself in the mirror and see that he's like more of a second to third option on that team, probably second after Zion because like they don't really have a lot of scorers on that team. So you should be the second option. You're not the go-to guy. You shouldn't, or at least you shouldn't be the go-to guy on that team. You know, if he needs to look himself in the mirror, figure that out, and then they might actually make the playoffs for once.
Yeah, you're holding Zion back, I think.
I mean, Zion's sliding a lot. Like he's having a great year, 25 and like 8.
You could do more,
but like he's unstoppable, and like Brandon Ingram thinking he's the best player on the team doesn't help that team kind of share where that team's going at all.
Hopefully he takes a step back because we want to see. I mean, I don't want to see Zion leave, but that's what it's trending towards.
Yeah, I mean,
in the future.
Yeah, the media hasn't started hammering Zion about championships or playoff games yet. So once that starts happening, like that'll happen next year. You see it with Luka. They're kind of like talking about how the Mavs aren't doing good, so Luka might leave. So like until like year 3 is when that starts, and then if they don't start winning games, like the media will just force him like start talking about it on First Take like every day. But yeah, it's skimped. I think we're both in agreement there. Last one of the day, last fat skimp of the day. Obviously, Tiger Woods, the car accident itself was very skimped. You know, prayers up for Tiger. The future of golf, though, knowing Tiger's probably out for the next 2 or 3 years, if that may be the rest of his career, where do you think we're going with golf? Future of golf, fat or skimped?
Future of golf. If you're talking that Tiger Woods may be coming back, if Tiger could come back, then the future of golf would be very fat for a short period of time because, I mean, he is towards the end of his career. But that comeback would lead to just...
The ratings would be insane, whatever tournament it is, yeah.
And that'd be amazing. That'd be a true comeback story. I mean, he's faced a lot of adversity, and he's always came back. He's always did what he had to do. But without him, I would say skimped or kind of just neutral, like... Because golf has just been, it doesn't really go up or down. I mean, if you're into golf, you're into golf. There aren't really new people who get into golf, but at the same time,
when Tiger Woods plays in a tournament, the ratings like soar up, like crazy.
So yeah, like it'll be fat if he returns, skimped if he doesn't, or just the same. It'll stay the same.
Yeah, like
because he's been gone for a while, and it's been Brooks Koepka the whole time.
When Tiger Woods won the Masters, the broadcast of the final round averaged 10.8 million viewers, which was the most since the previous year.
Yeah, which is crazy. 'Cause, I mean, I just watched the documentary on Tiger Woods. I think I talked about it.
Yeah, you briefly mentioned it. Yeah.
Amazing podcast.
I gotta watch
amazing show. Like it, and I had so much respect for Tiger and the fact that how he grew up playing golf. And to see that happen to him when he's trying to end his career on a high note really breaks my heart. This dude's life was golf. Like
the good thing is, like I saw on sports, I think it was PTI. They said it like if this is it for Tiger, it's like the last time you saw him on national television playing golf was playing with his son, and his son's a beast. His son got an eagle. I'm like, they're playing a legit course, and his son just balled out.
His son got an eagle.
So that'd be interesting to see. Like, you know, we lose Tiger, but then like maybe his son's on the come up. Like, like 5-6 years, you know, he'll be making his debut.
Not only was he with his son, but he was also with Dwayne Wade.
Oh, yeah, he was with D Wade. Yeah, that was different times, but yeah, he was with D Wade like the last time he golfed.
The Last Dance.
You could blame D Wade for this.
No, I don't want to get into it.
I don't want to get into it either, but like,
I know
D Wade was drinking wine and like, you're always having a good time with D Wade. So
yeah, D Wade's loving retirement.
Tiger might have been a little hungover.
Follow D Wade on OnlyFans.
No. All right, well, that's all I got today. Any final comments for our great viewers, the big ass community out there?
Strive for greatness, consistency, and hold yourself accountable because no one else will.
Amen to that. thank you for joining us on this Friday. It's always a great time talking with the big guy and to the big guys community as well. So have a good one, big guys, and take care.
See you next week.